telling you about the first game I ever worked on professionally. I'd worked on lots of games as a hobbyist, but in 1995 I got a chance to work on the first game I ever did professionally, which was Aladdin's Magic Carpet Ride, the virtual reality adventure, which got installed in Disneyland at the Starcade. And I learned a ton of things on that. I mean, it was incredibly exciting working on these huge purple Onyx mainframe computers with, absolutely state-of-the-art technology that was, it was probably about the level of a PS2, except we were doing it in 1995. And we were using head-mounted displays, and we were learning an awful lot. But we were very much alone. There was nobody to copy. There was no one had ever made like head-mounted virtual reality adventures that were designed to be consumed in a theme park environment using Disney characters. We had a lot to figure out. And one of the biggest things that I learned out of that was the notion of indirect control. We were constantly up against tensions between trying to make this a movie so that you'd have just a linear story that would go along, and trying to have it be open gameplay, because this was designed for the theme park audience. It had to work for a 5-year-old kid and a grandma and an 18-year-old Doom enthusiast. It had to work for everybody and be interesting for everybody. And we quickly started to realize that just making it a movie wasn't working, nor was it making it just kind of an open world explorable game wasn't working, because people expected and demanded a rich story in a relatively short 5-minute experience. And we found that the compromise came through indirect control. It came through finding that balance where people were in total control of what they were doing, but that you would use the visuals in the environment in order to lead them along a certain path. Simple things like painting a red line on a floor in a certain room, or having an interesting character to follow that we could get people to reliably do every time they would play, so that even though they could do whatever they wanted, we could predict what they would do, and it would let us control the story. The one that for me was the pinnacle of it, I guess there were two of them. One was there was the scene in the palace. It was an absolutely beautiful scene, and we wanted people to kind of have the feeling of free exploration, but we wanted a story moment in there, and it just wasn't happening. And one of our set designers said, let's just paint a red line on the floor to see what happens. None of us believed it would work. We all believed we were going to have to lock the player down, and players just followed that red line. They just really believed that they would just do it. And you'd ask them later, like, why did you do that? They didn't even know that they'd done it. It was a huge mind-opening moment for me. And there was another scene in a tunnel where we wanted you to have a moment talking to the Sultan, who was flying along on another carpet. And we realized that partway through, we could take control away from the player, and they wouldn't even know, because they were just so busy trying to steer down the hallway, and they wanted to see what the Sultan had to say. If we took control away for a little bit and didn't have them crash into anything, they didn't even know, because they wanted not to crash and they wanted to fly and be in control of the situation, and we made that happen. And just this realization that you could take control away and give a cinematic moment and then give it back and have people think they were in control the whole time opened up my mind and made me realize the possibilities of what you could do with the amazing medium of virtual reality and with games. All right, hope that was helpful. Thanks.